So I got a 2007 H3 Hummer. I noticed something was weird with the steering. When I rocked the wheel back and forth, it was kind of making funny noises. Not sure if we'll be able to hear it or not, but not very well. Anyway, I thought it was something in the steering column that was messed up. And I reached down in by where the steering shaft is, and of course it's way down in there, so it's almost impossible to get to from there. So I took off the inner fender, and of course you have to take off the mud flap, and then take out these two-piece connectors. So that piece goes in, and then this other piece goes in behind it. Once you get that through the panel, then you slide that other piece into it, and it locks in place. So we took off the mud flap and then took out, I don't know, maybe half a dozen or so of those, but got me in close to where I may or may not want to be. But we are, we're here. And there's that little U-joint right there. The inside journal has gone to hell in that. I can see it moving. Pretty crusty and rusty and everything down there, so gonna have to get that out of there. And I'll once I figure it out, I'll let you know what we have to do just to get that out of there. I don't know if I can just get that joint and change it, or if I need to get a new shaft, or what the deal is. But one thing I did was I made sure I had it pulled up straight to the door, and then you probably noticed I put the just put the seat belt through it to make sure that the wheel doesn't veer off from being centered. So anyway, that's it. That's it for now, and I'll figure it out as I go. I can look at it. Anyway, I took out this bolt that goes through it, just a 1/2-inch wrench to take that bolt out. Get that out of the way, and there was this little plastic thing in between there to protect the threads or something. I'm not sure what the purpose was of that, and I hit it with a hammer a couple times and knocked it loose. Get that out of the way. Kind of hoping I'd be able to just try and change that joint, but I don't know if I'll be able to or not. I should probably have to check first and see if it's available, and figure out where I'm going to go from here. But that side was definitely, that one journal there is definitely kaput, definitely worn out. So that's my noise. Well, the joint isn't available as a separate piece, so all you can get is the whole shaft. So we're going to take the steering column out now, I guess. But yeah, this side piece here just pops off. I already undid my hood release, and so the rest of these will just pop out. He says, yeah, just like that. Pop right out of there. Piece of cake. Be nice if I could disconnect that, but I don't know if I'll bother with that. I think I'll just, instead of bothering to disconnect that cable and stuff, I think I'll just deal with that piece, kind of try and get it out of the way the best I can, and then we'll see what we need to do to, look, there's some bolts holding that panel there, and like maybe two there, and two on the other side over here. I'll get them out of there and then see what I need to do after that. I'll check back. This is going to be kind of pieced together a little bit, I guess. I got those 4 bolts out. Got the 2 out on that side and the 2 out on that side. And it wouldn't move, so looking up in there, there's another one up in there. And another one up on that other side of the steering column up in there. So we'll pull them 2 out and go from there. There's one thing I forgot about. Down here, before you undo them, you gotta take your OBD2 connector, just unplug it from, just slides out of that, slides up out of that bracket that it's in. Probably easier to do that before you unbolt that bracket, but I don't do things the easy way. So let's see what we got here going on. All right. Looks like there's a couple bolts up there, a couple bolts on the firewall down there, a couple bolts right there. So 2, 4, looks like maybe 6. Probably have to undo this plug here, it looks like, and see if there's any more up in there. But once we get into it, I will let you know. Just a little heads up on this here. There's 2 plugs to disconnect. One here is pretty easy. It's in there. You just, if you can see that, but you just squeeze the back, and that one slides right out. The one up in here is a little bit cool, but I got it unplugged right now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but in the back, you have to squeeze that gray piece together in the back to release this blue piece. And when you release the blue piece, it swings down out of the way, and then the plug slides out of it. It's pretty neat. So got those kind of disconnected. I need to cut a few of these wire ties that got the wires bundled together to get that loose. And I try to do that carefully so I don't, because I don't want to cut any wires. Looks like someone's been in here. I'm not sure what this wire goes to. But there's one up there. I don't know if that other wire goes to the, it's got a remote starter on it. That might go to the remote starter, but I'll have to sort out these other ones here and let you know where those go. Anyway, bummer. So I wound up taking the plastic piece off around the bottom of the steering column. It was up in there. There was 3 screws going up through there. Put them 3 holes in the bottom. And it was kind of snapped together with the top half. I just sort of separated the 2 halves and popped the top off and the bottom, and I found another plug up in here. It was plugged up. It was plugged in there. So just one more plug up in there to disconnect. Had to cut a few more wire ties carefully to not cut any wires, of course. He says. Yeah, so I only got two bolts left. I got the 2 nuts off the firewall. I got the 2 bolts out. I got these 2 bolts left to take out, so I'm going to take those out, see if I can wiggle that thing out of there. And once I do that, I'm going to see what kind of a mess I got here. Looks like they put it's that damn remote starter in there. I'm going to have to deal with that as I go along. So anyway, that's my story for now. Well, I got it dragged out of there, sitting on the seat, obviously. And the wires are connected, but I mean, I got enough slack to get down to, looks like where they connect together. There's the bad part down there. What do I do with my flashlight? So yeah, I slid it out that far, and so there's the bad joint. Looks to me that's a 1/2 inch on one end, and I think it's 15 millimeter on the other end of that. So what I'm going to do is loosen that up and hopefully slide that bottom half of the shaft out of there, and then I should be ready to wait until morning to get my my new shaft with the joint in it. So we'll see how that works out in a minute here, because I realize that's not a impact socket. This isn't going to work out very good. I'm going to have to regroup here a little bit. I'll undo that, then I'll come back. Yeah, well, that wasn't too bad. So I get the nut off it, and it's got a bolt with some kind of retainer thing on the side of it that goes through that slot there. So take those and put them in my cup holder slash bolt holder, and then looks like that'll slide right out of there. I can leave the steering column right on the seat, and this is what I need right here. Wasn't that right? Fortunately that's fairly durable. That, and close the back, because I needed to get some tools out of the back. But anyway, maybe if I took my shaft out with me. A little bit easier to see now. Little tiny U-joint in there. So there she is right there. That end is pretty much junk. Seems like one journal, but that's all it takes. There she is. Over and out till tomorrow when I get my new piece to put it back in.